One Extra.
So that's Tuesday nights with DJ Target on One Extra, and you know the final hour of our Tuesday night shows over the last few months have always been pretty legendary, mainly because I've been going in depth with some of your favourite artists, some of your favourite stars, some real legends have been passing through. Tonight, we've got our first, I'd say our first international superstar in for In Depth.
In Depth.
And I literally saw this man perform just a couple of days ago. He was up at Radio 1's Big Weekend in Hull. Smashed it as well. He was like, as I entered the site, it was almost like it was my intro music because you were playing. You were playing loud and clear on the main stage, killing it. As always, Sean Paul's in the building. How you doing, sir?
Big up, my bro. Respect you, man.
Now, you know
Respect.
what, like I mentioned, these in-depth chats that we've been having since the start of the year, just been looking back and looking at the inspirations, the aspirations of some real legends. We've had a whole host of UK legends pass through, but today we're taking things to Jamaica, man. We're taking it worldwide.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that. Appreciate you for having me on, man.
Nah, it's only right now. Now, Sean, I got to start with the weekend just gone because Radio 1's Big Weekend. I know you've been coming to the UK for a long time now, man, for a career that's spanned. We're into like your third decade now, bro.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. You know, the first time I released songs in Jamaica was 1996.
Yeah.
So it's 2 decades for me right now. But internationally, like 2001 is when I started making noise. So it's been pretty much a few years, quite a few. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You're still here, man, strong as ever.
Yeah, I have to give thanks to the fans. Give thanks to the people who love the music and support it. All dancehall people. You know, our spin-off music will come off a dancehall to love it.
We're going to talk about all of that. We're going to retrace it back to the original roots and beginnings. But like I mentioned, being back in the UK, how was it for you in Hull over the weekend?
UK always treat me, you know, with love. Coming from Jamaica and having a background of, you know, dancehall, reggae music, to me, I think UK got that, especially because of the connection. Yeah. Very early, internationally, before a lot of territories. So, you know, it's always been a good time coming here. For me, I felt like the road was paved when I came here already. I'm like, it's showing UK.
Groundwork's already done.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Yeah, I mean, you know, people like Bob Marley and the greats came and did it, but also, you know, he did it on a great level, international level. But as I was saying, UK just get reggae music from a long time. You know what I mean? It's been heavily involved, so it's always been love for us.
Most definitely, man. Now I want to take it back to Kingston, Jamaica, where you were born and raised.
Yes, sir.
Now you're from a family, a background of very mixed heritage as well, man.
Yeah. You know, I have to big up my family that's from the UK. Yeah. My mom's mom, she come from Rugby.
Jeez. Wow, that's like rugby's kind of like just off of the Midlands. For those that don't know, I literally didn't know that, man.
Yeah, she come from Rugby. My mom's mom is from Coventry and Rugby. She was bombed in the war and moved from Coventry to Rugby.
Wow.
And then when she was about 20 or so, she came to Jamaica. She met my grandfather here, who is a Chinese Jamaican.
Wow.
So he was in school out here, I think Trinity College. Trinity College doing medicine. Left from here and they basically went to Jamaica and, you know, started a family. So, but my grandfather grew up in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Portland, that's the countryside. I like a Chinese family with a shop. They had 14 siblings.
Wow.
And his parents was from Banton, I think. Yeah.
Wow, so you know already before you'd even started, like you had a link to the UK already, like you was already like somewhat international as well, man. Before you'd even started. Now I know
mixing on my blood. Yeah, thing, man.
Crazy. Now swimming and sport was big in your family as well coming up. Like before music was sport and swimming in particular something that you were looking to take up.
Yeah, my father and my mother swam for Jamaica in the 60s, and they used to teach swimming when I was a kid. As I was jumping in the pool, and then by the time I was 13, I started water polo and swimming for my country until I was about 24.
Wow,
and that was a transition time from I was about 17 to about 24, like less swimming and more music until I was about 24. That's the last time I represented Jamaica, and I was like, definitely more music right now.
Do you know
for
what?
me.
I'm glad that you're helping to dispel the myth that black people don't like swimming because that's been one of those stereotypes literally for years.
We had a great team, and especially for Jamaica too. But I mean, when we went to international circles, we got creamed. Yeah. It's not because of skin color at all. It's just because it's a very small sport in Jamaica. But we have had people that gone to the Olympics and made it in the finals and stuff. You know what I mean? So, like right now, Alia Atkinson, who is much younger than myself, but she's a Jamaican swimmer that's breaking records right now and getting medals. And when I was swimming, she was a little tad.
Yeah.
But I think each of us that came and swam kind of upheld it, because if it's 50 people some years or 150 people swimming and competing, it's not enough competition to really compete on an international level. So when we do that, as people who don't have that competition, that's an amazing feat. So yeah.
Without a doubt, man. Now, swimming and sport, like I mentioned, was heavily influencing your life at the time.
Yeah, man.
When did you first, I wouldn't say come across music, because especially being in Jamaica and stuff like that, music is always going to be there in the background, if anything. But when did you really sit down and you were like, I really like this particular record or a particular artist? Do you remember anything that stood out for you early?
Yeah, I remember being a kid and saying, "Oh, I could dance like what was it? It was John Travolta at the time."
Oh wow!
I was like 5.
So you was busting those.
Yeah, I was like 5. I was like, and everybody was like, "Do the thing, kid." And I get shy, but I didn't really take on to music till like really. My mom loved the Beatles, my pops too, and a lot of R&B, different greats. I think more songs than just the artist itself. So I know different songs. But also reggae music was just very influential as a kid. I kind of almost felt like Bob Marley is he's just the most famous person from Jamaica. Every time someone mentions it, even back then, I was born in '73, and so by that time he was just a local legend.
Yeah. Household name in Jamaica.
Yeah, a household name, I should say, not local legend. Yeah, household name. So, all of those influences were my first musical kind of vibe. People like Cat Stevens to my mom love. And so it was a mixture of different kind of vibes. And funny enough, my aunt had a sound system when I was growing up.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you as well, because I know sound system culture in Jamaica, like everybody's got like a mum or dad or an aunt or cousin or somebody in the family. So Sparkle's sound system was an uptown sound system and played a lot of different type of music, but also the latest dancehall. And I was about 13 at the time, where they used to come and use our front yard as the dance, because we had a big front yard. Yeah.
So basically, parties would keep there every Easter, summer, Christmas. Parties with themes too. Like back in the day, there was something called Putting on the Hits, which people would go and mime their favorite, Madonna or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And they would win a...
It's like...
it was a TV show.
Lip sync battle.
Yeah, it was a lip sync battle. Yeah, it was a TV show. So we would have that in the middle of the dance at 12 o'clock and thing. It was just some differences on Halloween dances and things like that. So, growing up from I was like 12, 13, I was lifting up boxes and doing things like that. And even up to the age of 17, to get into parties that she was playing at.
Yeah,
I would be like, yo, I'm coming. And so I'd lift the box and my friends would be there. And then they would, we'd all party and then they would leave. And then I would be staying to lift the box and back and carry it back to the hotel and them kind of thing there. So that was my experience with kind of sound activity. They didn't let me spin, then never let me play. So me and my brother and some friends kind of would get together some equipment, techniques, and boom, lick a mixer and start scratching.
Yeah.
And that was the only thing I could do. So my brother would mix and I would be like, and then just getting more and more into that type of vibe. So as I say, about 12, 13, 14 years old, I started to love dancehall music, especially because it's the language that my friends are talking in.
Yeah.
And we're discussing things that happen, that are hot to our topics right now. Not a pretty song that has nothing really to do with my life at this point in time. So dancehall just hit me real strong at that point, about 12, 13, 14 years old, where I was like, this is my music. People like Pinchas,
Yeah.
Lieutenant Stitchy, people like the early Tiger.
I think this would be a great opportunity to play one of those early records, man.
Yeah.
I think we should do that right now, actually. Played you Papa San and Strange. That an early inspiration for you, man, coming up.
Yeah, big up to Papa San. I think he was one of the best to ever do it back in the day. Very lyrical kid. He has songs that last for 5 minutes with no choruses, and
mad.
They just keep on going on. It tells a big story and it's funny at the same time, and it's current. It was current to back in the day. So, he's a Christian artist right now, and he's still spitting for the Lord.
So still going as hard as ever.
Yeah, man, he's doing it, man. So big up to Papa San. The song Strange was, a kind of comedic song where he was like, everything's going wrong in my life. My girl left me, and it was just like, we've had tough times in Jamaica, but it's sometimes the best way to face them is to laugh at them.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what this song was about. He was in the World Book Records, man. Big up to Papa San for having the fastest flow and the most words in a song. And one of the first concerts I ever went to, I think it was the first show I ever went to, was a mixed dancehall show with a hip hop artist at the time who was big. His name was Young MC.
Oh wow, I remember Young MC.
Right, so Young MC was also in the Guinness World Book of Records.
Yeah.
For having the fastest flow in hip hop.
Yeah.
Right. So we all thought they was going to clash.
Oh.
Right? So it was like, yo, we're going to see this big showdown, and it never was. Papa San came on first and did his thing and destroyed the place, and then the girls were way into Marvin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were like, where is Marvin? So he came out, he did his thing. But for me at the time, I was like, I wish I saw a clash. Cause I know San would have killed him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I don't think like as good as Young MC was, I don't think he would have stood a chance.
Yeah.
Not against Papa San.
For real.
Now, you've already mentioned, jumping on the decks and doing your little scratching thing here and there. But when was it that Sean Paul decided to pick up a microphone or write lyrics or jump on stage in that aspect?
I thought at 15 years old I'd be a producer. You know what I mean? I convinced my mom to buy me a little Yamaha keyboard this big at a flea market. It had a crack in it.
Yeah.
You got it for cheap. But it had...
Still works.
Yeah, it had, it had a nice set of... I don't think too much chords differently, but it wasn't long enough. But it also had a little drum section.
Yeah.
So I could build back, the latest rhythms of what was happening at the time.
Kind of like recreating.
Recreate it and just kind of play the bass to it live because there's no way to record it.
Yeah.
And I kind of start just chanting stuff. And I thought I'd be a producer. I was like, Mom, I saw Steely and Clevie on TV. They're legendary dancehall producers.
Yeah.
And they got, this computer, yo. And she sent me to, my mom sent me to piano classes, right? But I want to play what I hear.
Yeah.
And I've always been good. And she wants me, the piano teacher wants me to learn math.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to write no numbers, bro. I just want to play. Look, I can play this. And she's like, oh, that's great. You have to learn it from the beginning, which I wish I did.
Yeah.
But after a while I was like, yo, so I got this keyboard and I started recreating the things by myself. And actually, through most of my high school until about 17, I thought I was going to be a producer,
Yeah.
And I was.
So you hadn't like written any bars. You hadn't been on the mic, or like this was strictly you were just making tracks.
Just messing around with tracks.
Yeah.
And then also at school, people used to beep on the desk then.
Yeah.
And I used to put in my 2 cents, and people would be like, "Yo, you sound like Cat," and I was like. Even if I was trying to DJ a Shabba song.
Yeah.
Because
Shabba, the legendary Super Cat, of course.
Yeah, Super Cat and Shabba was my heroes.
Yeah.
Back then, every song they put out, I was like, yeah, man, that's my thing. So even before they had international, I'm talking about from 89 and from before, even 85, Cat.
Wow.
Yeah, Super Cat. Yeah, Super Cat had a song called Siboops there that was huge when I was like, 10 years old or whatever. So, So they were the first DJs to me that I rated. And I would try to sing back like a Shabba song and people would say, yo, you sound like Cat though. And I'm like, oh, Zine. So just the tone of my voice. Yeah. And then when I would sing his songs, people would, so it was from the beginning like that. But I didn't take that part serious. I thought that was just something I'm doing at school, just participating in the little cypher and just put a 2 cents. I really wanted to be the producer. And then we would do, like, I went to a school one day that had a play, and the teacher was like, yo, you know what? You keep on banging on the desk and whatnot. She's like, here are some words, go make a song, go make a demo.
Wow.
So I was like, all right, cool. So I went to my boy's house who was playing with Leju sound system, big up Amos, the famous, you know what I mean? The first person I did any dub plates with or any demo tapes with. So we go there and we're playing, you know, some every rhythm that's hot in dancehall at the time. And I spit these lyrics that the teacher wrote on there, which was more of a rap, right? So it plays in the school and everybody's like, yo, that's you. And I was like, yeah. So I still didn't take it serious. Went to another school, long story, but put
Was you being naughty?
Nah, there's no grades, bro. Then time I didn't have the high grades, you know what I mean? So
definitely got it now though.
Yeah, for sure. But so I would go to the school and I take this like a keyboard. It was in the country, it was a boarding school.
Yeah.
So they're like, yo, and I make back these rhythms and people like, oh, that's dope. So one of their school plays, I played this stuff and people DJ'd. And I was like the backing band with this one 4-piece thing and whatever. So I still didn't take nothing serious. And then I basically saw a friend of my own, Don Youth, kid named Jason Williams. In school, he's a table tennis champion for Jamaica and I'm a swimming champ.
Wow.
So when I see him start spitting now and hanging with Spragga Benz and people, I'm like, wow. He's showing me the way. He's like, yo, these are the studios. I'm like, whoa, wicked. You know, he's also basically a phenomenon in Jamaica at the time. Big up to Dan Youth. There was nobody that did dancehall music from uptown, so to speak, that was vocally an artist out there. And he's like, he comes out and he's singing songs with Wayne Wonder and hanging out with Frisco Kid and we like, damn, yo, that's Jason.
This is really happening.
Yeah,
right?
for real. And he's showing me studios and, you know, I'm going to the places he's going and I'm meeting people and I'm starting to put my rhymes together, you know. By the time he was very popular in Jamaica, I had like 2 little verses I would like spit to people and I'd be like, yo, that's dope. But you have to be ready for any rhythm. You have to. And so I started my journey then. I would say it was about 1994, 95.
Wow.
When I started to say, oh, I'm gonna spit.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this seriously now.
Yeah.
It took you a minute to kind of to say, right, I'm gonna actually run with this, man.
Yeah, and because I just didn't see myself in that light. I didn't. And it's probably why a lot of people didn't see me that I never told nobody. Like none of my close friends, only my brother knew. And this kid Amos, where I'd go to the house and do some demos. And then my pops was in prison from I was 14 years old till I was about 19.
Yeah.
So he comes out and hears these tapes and he's like, what?
This is my son?
Oh, that's crazy. That's dope. You know, and he's not down with the whole scene, but he's like, yo, I know Cat Core, who is from the Third World Band. And he's like, that's my boy. I've known him for years. I'm going to take this to him and see what he thinks. So we go to Cat Core and Cat Core is like, you sound like Super Cat and it's fresh and it's dope. And at the time, there was a lot of things going on in my life and I was spitting reality rhymes. And also Capleton had just become, you know, a conscious artist, and also Buju Banton had just become, and it was a popular thing. And I was like, yeah, I got to say something. So I had a lot of rhymes that was just more, you know, oriented to hard times or to be more conscious there. Is alarm this, it's a ghetto story. Read about it in the Star and watch it on TV. Is an alarm this, the ghetto story. Read it in the magazine and watch it on movie. Mama, she a ball chew, she well hungry. She only have enough money to feed the picking. She send Steve and John if you go find them daddy. But daddy him junk and freaky, them off to walk on the road and beg food money. The youth man uptown a dealing US currency. Is an alarm this. You know what I mean?
So, you had me. I was about to start going in there.
Like back in school days.
Yeah, bro.
But like I was saying, it's crazy how life is. Like, look on that uptown, people got this money, and then downtown, you know, people like. So I was, cause I'm sitting on the fence. Like, my father's in prison. I'm uptown, but no one there. I don't go to Miami for the weekends, and I'm not, you know, invited to the house, you know, at certain times when they got all their video games going on. It wasn't like that for me. So there was a point in time where I felt left out from my society where I grew up, and I started hanging with different people, and people who I was like, damn, they even have it worse than me, bro. I don't have it bad at all. This kid live in zinc, and there's no floor, and it's zinc. And when it rains, they have a bed with spread, but there's muddy water running under that through the zinc, through the door, under their bed,
real
outside.
Hard times.
I'm
man.
like, this is crazy, and that shows me a different life of Jamaica.
Yeah.
And start me even so I started to write a lot of those reality rhymes and thing, and every producer that saw me at the time was like, but yo, you's a face boy. You got all these girls, like you go to parties. I'm like, yeah, I do, but you know, this means a lot to me. And they're like, look, listen, at the time when I started to hear this a lot, they were like, you're never gonna do it better than Tony Rebel. You're never gonna do it better than Buju Banton. You're never gonna do it, because these people are versed at what they do, and they went through the hard time.
Yeah.
You've seen it, but you don't. So I wouldn't do that if I was you. And they stared me into a way of like, yo, sing about what you know about. I'm like, all right, cool, but yeah, I do go out a lot, and I do hang out with ladies a lot, and so I was like, all right, baby girl, don't cry no more. And they was like, yo, I was like, for real?
Forward.
I was like, for real? They're like, yeah, come sing this at thing, come do a dub play for. Okay, cool. And then just whirlwind, it just started to happen after that. So
things went crazy for me.
Yeah, and then ladies just even more flock, like yo, and start like screaming every time they hear it sing, and that energy just got me to a point where it really dug me into just my which type of artist I wanted to be. I was like, all right, well, I still want to spit some reality rhymes, which I do have nowadays still, but this is my got lane. Me going this right now. Lane. This is and the ladies just had me in my, as I say, in my lane, and it was fun. Fun. Like it was just like when I went to school for hotel management, right? But I wanted to. I was about 19 years old. I wanted to transfer to do architecture. Yeah, because that's where I think I'm going to be at that point, right? So I'm doing architecture, but I went to school. I got into the school to do hotel management, and there was 80 girls in my class. So I was like, yo, so I just stayed with hotel management. They're asking for trouble there. Yeah, no, I just
putting you in the class with 80 chicks.
Yeah, I just stayed in hotel management. I didn't want to. So just like with the music, I was like, reality rhymes, people's like, that's nice. But with it, I sing a girl song and now get no blind. People are like, oh, that's dope.
And it
was just a different vibe.
You had all the inspiration you could ever need for all the ladies' tracks you could ever make with just in that one classroom as well.
Yeah, but bro, even when rhythms play, right, I think of dance, and I think when Homegirl did that move, and I was like, oh yeah, and it gets me going. And that's why I would start to rhyme on tracks, like just freestyle that way, more naturally, because a lot of the time back in the day was spent socializing, going to clubs, and even when I go back to school or work on Monday, I'm remembering what Jessica pressed up on me on Friday night. I was like, yo,
you still got that vision in your mind now.
She blazed me with it. So I'm going to the end of the week, but it keeps me.
Yeah, just keeps rolling over inspiration, man.
Yeah, and vibes, and even whatever is happening. At the time, there was like USA bombing Gaddafi, and everybody was like, it was 1987. I'm talking about back in the day. Yeah. And I was like, yo, is this going to be World War X? Wow. You know what I mean? And then I was like, no, but Jessica got that shit going on. So you feel
Jessica was making everything all right, boy.
So you got you. And then it just turns into the way I see music now. So people ask me nowadays, like, yo, does your son make you make? And I'm like, nah, because I don't come from that place in my head to make the music. That place is me and my son. Yeah, that's eternally, what can I say? That's a different entity, eternal.
Sacred.
That's sacred shit. But when I'm making my music, it's a next sacred thing to me.
But you're tapping into like a different vibe. I need to see who this Jessica is, because like she's getting mentioned a lot.
No, big up Jessie, but for real though, I mean, that's where I come. A lot of people at some point is like, oh, you just keep singing about girls. I'm like, yeah, because that's where I come from. It eliminated all of that. The outs. My father's in prison. My mom's now a single mom, with 2 kids, giving her a little trouble, and they you know, we getting into scuffles with people, and we're trying to prove and trying to find ourselves, and so forgetting all of that, forgetting everything that was just like this is negative for me. Going to the club or in Jamaica, you party younger. So we would go Friday nights to house parties and things, Saturday nights too. And that would be my release, bro.
Yeah.
That would be my whole energy. It was everything to me.
I think this is a great time for us to play another one of those early greats, man. Buju Banton.
Yes, sir. I used to try build this rhythm over.
Wow. Did you ever? How far did you ever like get to a point where you're like, you know what? That sounds alright.
No, because at that time it was never something, and there was no computers.
Very limited. Obviously,
yeah, it was limited to I just had the keyboard, and it was no way. It was only a rare way of recording a loop and playing it live, and probably taping it on a tape deck, right? Because I just didn't have the equipment. So. Later in the years, as I said, we started spinning and getting more equipment and knowing, there's a computer program that you can nuendo. Oh, okay, we start going on like that, start knowing stuff. So, but never was able to. But this song that we're going to play by Buju is when he just started to get conscious, and that was just that was in like 1994, after he had blazed up great fire and sing about all kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He was still young as well. These
young.
times.
He was young. And he was a great inspiration to me. You know what I mean? I was a big fan of Shabba, and when he came out, Buju, I was like, yeah, but he copying the voice and the style, and then when I heard so much hits, and he
just won you over.
Yeah, Buju did it like no one ever did it before. All of his songs went to #1. All of them, and he had like 23 in a row.
Wow.
And he was like, you were blown away. You were like, you can't deny this dude's talent. And then the first time I saw him on stage, just skinny dude. I was like, no way. And girls just like, ah! And I'm like, no way, that's him. He came to a club I was in and just spat some rhymes and left. And
shut it down.
Yeah, man. And I was like, that's amazing. So, and then when he did all that, and then he started to sing songs like this one. This one is much more conscious. It's about it's about the spirit, I would say. He's like, yo, murderer, you can't kill me. If you kill me today, you can't kill me tomorrow, but I'm still here. My spirit is still existing. So you just wasting, bro. And it was really talking to people. There was a lot of violence in Jamaica at the time, and it kind of made people feel like, yeah, that's true, and come together. You know what I mean? So all who say they ain't role models in the music right now, y'all need to rethink that.
Yes, man.
Because Buju Banton was definitely a role model for me and helped me walk on a good path and know, say, yo, you can't just feel like you're going to be the man all the time. Yeah. You have to know, say, every man, but no man no better than no man.
Yeah. We could literally talk about Jessica and no, literally we could talk about those early foundation days and the foundation artists that inspired you as well, man. But there came a time when it was about to be Sean Paul's time, man.
Yeah.
Tell us about, for me, things really seemed to blow when Infiltrate dropped.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you correct. Because I did Baby Girl Don't Baby Girl is the song's name. It was a Baby Girl Don't Cry No More. And the producers that produced me them time, Jeremy Harden, big up to him. He was really forward thinking dude. And did remixes of each song on the flip side, which was hip hop remixes of each song. And it was 6 songs on the juggling, I think. And I was like, yo, this camp is dope. And we just started the whole little thing. And then my first little dub plate sessions and stuff was all done around there, and started to make money. And then we started to hang with this kid named Dadigan, who is another DJ who hangs out at the same studio. And he's kind of like the first person that accepted me. R.I.P. to him, he's passed now, and big up to his family, and we're still in touch. Dadigan was the first dude who accepted me. I was like, yo, this kid is uptown, but this kid is dope.
Was it quite hard to gain that downtown Kingston acceptance?
I would go to the studios and big producers would be like, okay, DJ, and I would go behind the mic, and there's other big artists there, and they were like, I'm like telling him how they feel, and he's like, I don't like you on this rhythm, try this rhythm. I don't like you on that rhythm, try that. Okay, this, another time, and it would make me feel crushed. Like I'm like, don't they hear I'm dope? And then people would see me and hear my voice and say, "Oh, you sound like Snow," and I'm like, I have a lot of respect for Snow, because he came in the game and did his thing, but I don't sound like Snow.
Yeah, no, I think that's a little bit. Like, I wouldn't go as far as you saying you sound like Snow.
No, I don't sound. So you just looking at me, bro.
Yeah.
So I faced a different struggle in a flip way. Then it's like, bro, just because I'm not from where that is, don't mean it don't move me. Don't mean it doesn't talk to me. Don't mean that I haven't learned from it.
Yeah.
Don't mean that I don't have something to add. Let me add. Let me come add. So anyway, this is the first kid that was just like, yo, DJ. He called me DJ as a nickname. When you like another DJ in Jamaica, who are MCs then.
Yeah.
If you like the other MC, you call him, yo, DJ.
Yeah.
From a long time that Lil Wayne talked about, that's my DJ. We've been saying that from forever. I'm a DJ. Shabba, I'm a DJ. Forever. We say that. So when this kid was calling me, he was like, yo, DJ Rara. I was like, yo, he have faith in him. Yeah, he have respect. And then we start rolling everywhere. We start doing dub plates together. And he had a crew that was developed with Jimmy Cliff's son, big up Deanie, who used to rap in the group. And also a kid who right now tours and is the engineer for Junior Gang. His name is David Cole, whose father was a huge football player in Jamaica, and his mother was part of the I3s.
Oh, wow.
On Obama. So these three kids and these two kids and Dadigan started a group. How it started was Dadigan was like the dirty cup and make we bun down rum, meaning chalice pipe.
Yeah.
Dirty cup.
Yeah.
Right? So, and they was like, yo, that name's dope. Where you get it? And he's like, I was freestyling. Dope, dirty cup. When it's, it's dirty, it's full of weed, it's always burning. So they were like, let's start this group named Dirty Cup Crew. And they were doing their things for a few years before I even came in. They kind of disbanded, and it was him on his own. And he was just like, yo, Dirty Cup, Sean Paul, Dadigan.
Come in, yeah.
So then a year later now, Infiltrate, which this long story is getting to, we were partying for about a year now, and then other kids started to come around, a whole heap. Lugaman, Massa Kid, Chicken, Kid Corrupt. And that's how we started a group called... Kid Corrupt he was moving with Daniel from before, and he had a song out, and we used to look up to this kid. But he kind of was out of the bit. He kind of left the business for a sec. When he came back in, he was like, yo, I want to be in this group. And we was like, definitely.
Yeah.
So with open arms, and we became Dirty Cup Crew. That was the most popular version of Dirty Cup Crew at the time. And then, boom, they had a song called Stick Up on that rhythm. This is a stick up, give me everything you got. Right? And then I had a song called Infiltrate. Corrupt had a next song, which I can't remember the name of it right now. Seeing big up Corrupt. But yeah, that song, Infiltrate, blew me.
Yeah,
and it carried the name with it, like Dirty Cup did come at the same time. But the shot that I shot out at that point, it just kept going.
Yeah. And literally, it hasn't stopped as well. Like, we're in 2017 and like literally that shot that you fired off with Infiltrate is still traveling, bro. It's like, it's been crazy ever since.
But when I heard that rhythm, it gave me, I was like, a lot of people ask me, how you write the songs? And sometimes the lyrics come to me before, and sometimes I hear the rhythm and write to it. But that one was like, I heard the rhythm, and it just told me it was saying, like, say this, say this.
We got to play it. We have to play it, man. Sean Paul's in the building. It's Infiltrate. Tuesday night on One Extras. DJ Target in the building for tonight's In Depth. We're really going in depth as well, man. This is like, we should have done like a 3-hour special edition for this one. Infiltrate, like we already spoke about how that just seemed to propel you like to new heights. Obviously, it blew you in Jamaica, but it was also spreading around the world. Like,
I have a lot of DJs that come to me with the vinyl, and I'm like, yo, this is and I was like, that's my first record. They're like, yeah, I know, I've been there, and I'm like, damn. So that song in general, as he said, and it had a dope remix, a hip hop remix on the back, and it just did a lot, So what one song can do, and then we can talk about others like. Couple years after
the list from then on is just ridiculous. Like
breaking.
The fact that as well, like you said, Infiltrate blew you into like a new stratosphere, but you got to be able to follow that up, man, because people are asking for the next one. People want to hear what else you got. Like, is this the real deal? Is he gonna just be like a one-hit wonder? And boy, like
even nowadays more so than then too, because everything's faster. But there was a competition back then to stay, and I remember writing my first song, and saying to myself, "Wow, I loved it for like 10 minutes." I was like, that's a song. That's a full song. And I could sing it to somebody and they're like, that's a full song. and then after that 10 minutes, I was like, how am I going to keep this up though?
Yeah.
That took a lot out of me, like juice. Like to just like, to make it hot. So yeah.
You found a way though.
Yeah.
Safe
it was
to say
a concern
that you found a way.
It was a concern at the time. I want to tell you the first time that I did those demo tapes and then recorded something, I got... The producer produced 5 little 45s, just as test singles. And this was actually, he used to manage Super Cat. This guy heard me on a demo tape from the Cat Corps and was like, yo, him sound like Super Cat. I was like, bring him.
Yeah.
And I went and I did a song, that Ghetto Story song that I sang earlier.
Oh, wow.
And he put it out. And the first person to ever play it was Muta Baruka.
Jeez.
I went to him. I knew where his bookshop was. And I drove up there, they used to call it the bread van. It was a VW, it was brown and beige, VW long van. And I could park it neat, and I'm a good driver.
Power steering.
Yeah, man. The big stuff like this, that's how we are rolling. The whole Dirty Cup used to roll in that. So I went to his shop, and I stayed there, and I knew he would open at whatever time. And I went there from before he came, and I walked up to him, and he was like, what's up? And I was like, well, I did this record and I just want to know what you thought of it. And he's like, all right, cool. And he has a show every night in Jamaica. Every Thursday night at the time in Jamaica. It was a talk show, very controversial, called The Cutting Edge.
Yeah.
I'd always listen to it. So it was Thursday. I went, I'm at home doing homework now, after swim training. And I'm like, oh yeah, Cutting Edge. It's like 10:05, right? So I'm like, boom, turn it on. And I catch him saying, well, this is a youth where him give me him record today where, and he's, just listen it. And he's just listen it.
Wow.
And I was like, damn.
Your heart must have been beating fast.
Yeah, and I couldn't tell no, because mom's sleeping, my brother's sleeping, right? It's like 11 o'clock at night. And I'm like,
so you got to suppress these vibes. Like, you're just like here, you wanted to like, turn it up and just go crazy. And you've got to just like hold it all in.
And that's the first time I was played on the radio. I remember that.
Amazing. And then from there, like, you just hit your stride just fully, man. Everything from, like, literally, like, the debut album just was incredible, bruv. Like, it was a great album to start with. You also featured in one of my favorite movies of all time, albeit like quite a short appearance, but like a legendary one at that.
10 seconds.
No, come on, it's like, if I would have taken like a 2-second cameo in Belly if someone offered it to me.
Big show.
Like, that was the movie at the time, man.
Yeah, man. It was crazy just being involved with it. Because I'm one of the kids that was very hip hop forward in Jamaica at the time, and I loved hip hop, right? So, and I know people was like, oh yeah, the Yankee thing there. They weren't into it as much. I mean, that Christmas, the Christmas that Biggie came there, he came on Sting, which is a legendary concert.
I didn't even know that Biggie did Sting.
He did in a wheelchair because he was in a crash that Christmas before he died.
Wow. So
he comes there and people threw red stripe bottles at this man. Because he's in a wheelchair and somebody's pushing him, and they was like,
thinking, what's this?
They was like, yeah, because they didn't know that. And I was like, so that's how underground rap was. Because I'm in the crowd like, oh my God.
That's Biggie.
They are still, oh my God.
They throw things at Biggie, oh bro.
Yeah, right? So that's how underground hip-hop was at the time in Jamaica. Big songs came out, and people knew big artists, LL Cool J. But they didn't know the Fushniks and they didn't get into it.
Fushnickers, I remember those guys, boy.
They didn't get into it. So yeah, it was a thing. What I was telling you about the damn, I lost my train now.
Oh wow, I've just been weaving myself around these stories so much I've lost myself as well. We were talking about debut album, smashing it.
Yeah.
Being into hip hop.
Yeah.
Biggie coming to Jamaica. in a wheelchair and being bottled, basically.
Yeah. But why was that saying
why did we start that? See, this is what happens when we go in depth. Like, there's so much to talk
getting
about,
lonely.
man.
I need some more green. But
there's so much to talk about, though, man.
Yeah, but the first album, I was heavily influenced by hip hop at the time too. You know what I mean? So I think we put it together from that perspective too. I'd heard hip hop albums with skits on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, nobody ever did skits in Jamaica. Like, we've done intros and stuff like that, but we didn't know a skit. And those became legendary. Those people still stop me today. Police stopped me last week. Was like, yo, yeah. And
was that skit on the album?
Yeah, they recreate this skit, and I'm like, oh my God.
Here we go again. So, you know, a lot of people, they coined the phrase "difficult second album." Often people are like, "Oh, he's got the first album done, but is he going to be able to get? What's going to happen with the second one?" That's generally like across the industry. That's usually what happens. And your second album was like, wow, like home run, like ridiculous.
It was
tracks
nuts.
like Glue, Give Me the Light, Get Busy. We're talking about like worldwide smash hits.
5 smash hits singles.
6 million albums sold.
Was nuts.
Like ridiculous.
It was not.
The numbers were like. Let's talk about Give Me the Light, because that was definitely, I feel like, a super ultra international pop mainstream smash hit. Like, you couldn't get away from it, especially in the UK. It was like everywhere. How did that song come about?
That song came about by a dude calling me and was like, yo, I have a rhythm. I was like, how much money you got, bro? I'm trying to live them times, right? And I'm trying to vouch for the big producers like Steely and Cleavy, Sly and Robbie. You know, people who are really hot in Jamaica. This kid I was like, yo,
a new kid.
Yeah, he was actually from Miami. So I was like, bro, how much money you got? I said, I charge $1,000, $1,000. And he's like, I got $800. And I was like,
that'll do.
I'm coming. So I went over there.
You go over to Miami, yeah?
No. He came to Jamaica. I went to the studio. So I'm like, on the way down, he had given me the rhythm before, and I got melodies from it. So I'm like, humming the melodies going down to the studio. I'm like, what am I going to talk about now? And at the time, I was really getting a lot of shows in New York. And in Jamaica, we weren't busting no Moet bottles. We were buying crates of Guinness
Red
and
Stripe.
Yeah.
To throw.
But every time I went to New York, people was busting bottles and giving me, and you know, hey, Mr. Paul, and I never bought bottles before for people, but people buying bottles for me now because they like my song. And I'm like, damn. And so it just came from, I was every weekend. I would spend Friday, Saturday, Sunday in New York, come home Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, leave Friday, go do shows. So every weekend for months in certain years. And, you know, it was like a long, extended kind of tour like that. And it was, so I just talked about what was happening. You know what I mean? Yo, which girl there for me, man? Yo, bust a bucket. Yeah, man.
That's what that literally was your every weekend.
Yeah. So it was just the perfect scenario. I was like, all right, let's sing about that. And did it very quick, like 20 minutes. It wasn't that long.
Wow.
Because the verses were more freestyle. And one thing I was kind of upset about when it came, when it started to blow out, I was like, no way, this song is about what?
Out of all the songs
I loved
you've
it,
been doing.
but it only had 2 verses. So it's playing on BET, right? The longest time a video was ever played. Like, it was over 20 weeks, whatever, how much weeks, I don't remember the number, but I'm like, damn, this song got 2 verses. 2 and they keep repeating. And people loving it right now. And then there's other songs like Love You, Maybe I Need
Jeez,
You.
Nelly and Kelly.
And it's so developed, and it got a bridge. And it's all, and mine was Give Me a Light. Doom, 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 doom. I'm like, damn. But that's the only thing I didn't like, was that I didn't put more on it.
Yeah, to be fair, you didn't even need to.
But that's
you
the thing.
You didn't even need to.
Sometimes rhythm is just a vibe and you just do it.
Exactly,
so,
and that record, along with like some of the others are named, man. That album just probably way past that number now, but like 6 million plus sold. Like, that is where it puts you into like a whole different bracket, even from the artists that you'd been looking up to in Jamaica. Like, you had surpassed pretty much all of them.
It took me to the world, bro. Like, I mean, I toured 20 African countries just for.
Wow.
I even at the time, there was people telling me, it was in my clique, like, yo, you know, producers are gonna last longer than you. You enjoy this now because you're only gonna have a certain time. And I was like, when, you know, and they were telling me to prepare me for anything. You know, I was like, you know,
get ready for this to all crash.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, basically, it's not gonna always be like this and stuff. And I'm like, I get that. But I also felt just the love of the people and the amount of energy that came from these songs, these 5 songs that were those singles.
Yeah.
For that album, it took me so much places. And I'm like, bro, I could tour from about 10 years
just
on
off
that.
of the, yeah.
And honestly, I've had 1 or 2 hits since, like big hits since that on my own.
Yeah.
And that album helped me tour all of the now.
Still.
You know what I mean? I just gotta give thanks for everybody who did love that vibe. It came at a time where it was just special to people. I brought dancehall to a forefront. I never ever said I invented dancehall. Never ever said I was the best. I always said that I'm a soldier for dancehall.
Yeah.
And that I'm just grateful to be walking on this path that other people have set for me, and that you know, that I'm able to take to greater heights and shine light on other people's careers, such as Conscience and Ching Ching and, you know, Sasha.
We're going to talk about some of those the new wave, if you like, of Jamaican dancehall artists. But, you know, off the back of the second album, man, like, the phone started to ring like heavy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure the collaboration requests were pouring in left, right, and centre, man. Like,
yes, sir.
Then you got the call. Well, I'm assuming you got the call asking to be on a Beyonce record.
Yeah, it was, my manager calls me and says, yo, I was really wondering if this was a joke, but get this. I was like, all right. He's like, Beyonce wants you on a single. And I was like, what? That's crazy. Because she opened for a show for me in 1998 in Jamaica. That's how crazy this is.
Destiny's Child.
Because Destiny's Child was a brand new group.
Yeah.
And there was some little forward-thinking promoters in Jamaica, like, yo, let's get them to open for, you know, our artists.
Yeah.
Because they was kind of involved in pushing us. So and then within a month after she came to Jamaica with Destiny's Child, the 4 of them, at the beginning, she blew it. She went, boom.
Yeah, clear.
You know what I mean? So then when I heard that she wanted, I was like, damn, that's pretty cool. So the song comes, I'm in my car, around the back of my yard, underneath a mango tree, and I'm writing my verse. They ready to give me the thing, they're ready for it, and a mango fall out of the tree into my lap. And I write mango. So I was like, this tune.
Did you bust it and eat it?
I was like, this tune is gonna be a big tune. I got a free mango from this tune already.
The mango fell from the tree, brother, to salute the verse.
You see me?
That's sick. That's crazy.
Lubricate the mind and make the people know what's going on.
Jeez.
Yeah, man.
So you knew that one was about to go.
Yeah, I was like, yo, this is true. I was just catching a good vibe at the time, and then getting a free mango was amazing.
Do you know what? I wanted to ask you this as well, because there were rumors around the time, like, and I've never been able to have this confirmed or denied or whatever, but there was a rumor at the time that when the video was happening, that Jay-Z was a bit worried because of your, like, gallus, I don't know, like the reputation. Yeah, your gallus ways. And there was like, he didn't want Sean Paul in the like same shots as Beyonce. I don't know how true or fake or unrealistic that was, but I had to ask you, man.
People is people, and people ain't talk.
Yeah.
And you know, whether I've had people in front of me saying, yo, you did, and I was like, no, bro, it didn't happen. They're just like, no, you did. And like, so, she explained to me when it all started to happen, I was like, yo, bro, the controversy follows me. So I was like, controversy follow me too, man. but I mean, so I didn't get that part. Yeah. So I thought that some of it was even in-house, just like,
yeah, just people trying to like avoid any situations or whatever.
And I don't get like that. And you know, it was unfortunate because I knew Jay before I knew her.
Yeah.
I was on a record with him before I knew her. But honestly, at the time, I always felt that Jay didn't really rate me. And so if there was jealousy, if people see that, then maybe they perceive that as jealousy. Because I went to his studio. I'll tell you a story. Nah, shouldn't tell that story.
Yeah, I think you should. It's perfect time for it.
I went to the studio and I was late for my own signing of my own record with VP and Atlantic Records.
Oh, wow.
And he's like, come. So I came. It's Jay-Z. So I sat in the cut. I waited on him. I waited for 2-3 hours.
Wow.
And they was all up there with bottles of champagne like, bro, we trying to sign you?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm coming. So I didn't go nowhere. He comes and he's like, yo, I got stuff to do. And he wanted me to say something and I spat the lyrics.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do a verse. And if you listen to the song that we did, there's no verse from me. Because he's like, I gotta go to Chicago and I'm out later. And he left.
Wow.
And they was like, okay, go do the sign and come back. And there was no comeback.
Yeah.
So I would never understand why an artist would leave that a whole verse empty in the end.
No, and after you'd already
so that
recorded
just
it as
made
well.
me feel like he just didn't have the ratings for me.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, that's a voice that's going on right now. Cop him. That's how I felt treated.
Yeah, yeah.
And so so I don't know if anybody saw that and feels like that's a jealousy thing and started that whole room, but that's how I felt from in that beginning. You know what I mean? And I just pushed through and do my thing. I mean, I've seen him after the Grammys and a couple times later, and we're always, we spoke about it. Like, I'm not saying nothing like that, bro. And he's like, yeah, I get it. And so it's like,
all's well that ends well. I guess,
but for the public, it was like, and it would have been great. She's beautiful. I mean,
that was, listen, that would have been a nice day.
She's an amazing artist. You know what I mean? She's dope. I don't see nobody that still like who sing and move on stage like that and still sound like that way there and just do it year to year.
Own, man. Just trying to just decipher and break down his career, man. It's just still going stronger than ever. Sean Paul's in the building. We just played you Baby Boy from Beyonce. That came at a time when you were literally like globally just shutting it down. The second album was out there selling millions. You'd had like so many international hit singles. Your features were like just even the track I'm playing in the background now, Blue Cantrell's Breathe was huge as well, man.
Mad something.
There must have been a few things that you had to turn down as well around that time because everyone must have wanted you on records. Yeah,
there was a couple of things that I was sometimes some big heroes of my own I was not able to do.
Yeah.
Do work with them just due to timing, just due to sometimes red tape, which I hated.
Red tape,
the label just gets involved and crushes it.
Yeah.
Be like, you know what, your single, blah blah blah. All right, cool, I get it, but it messes sometimes with the artistry of peeps, and that's the first time I kind of encountered it when I became huge. And I'm like, I want to work with this dude, and they're like, you have a single now, you can't, because his is gonna mess with
radio at the same time, and it's gonna overlap, and it's
didn't have to think about that before. And then even in Jamaica, you have to put out singles every minute. You have to keep, and I'm trying to keep up with that. And they're like, you're putting too much out. I'm like, bro. So that's why I love this relationship I'm in now.
Yeah.
Because they are allowing that. They understand the culture. They're like, bro, you have to keep that up.
Exactly. Because I'll listen to Shawnee B show on a Thursday night. He plays like he's the dancehall don here, and he's doing his rhythm excursions. Like you're all over all of these rhythms as well.
I'm sprinkled in.
Yeah, you're sprinkled in as much as you're doing the mainstream end of the stuff. You're still doing that foundation work as well, man. Which is definitely something to salute.
Appreciate.
You kept it moving as well, man. Like we're only up to like the second album in this conversation, but you've literally been just smashing them out of the park, one after the other. The third album followed.
Yeah,
more big hit singles from that.
Temperature was on that.
Temperature was huge. That was like top of the Billboard 100 as well.
Yeah, that's arguably my biggest. Give Me Light's huge, and Get Busy went to #1 by itself tour, but Get Busy and Give Me and Temperature. This is my biggest gigs, bro.
Yeah. What goes off like the most when you're performing? It's got to be out of those 3 records as well. I would say.
Yeah. Those are definite. Yeah, you can't left them on.
Yeah, no.
If you do, people like, I didn't see Sean Paul this weekend. I don't know where. They said he was there, but
yeah, I didn't hear it, dog. I'm sure. Like, have you ever wanted to just? Can I just leave performing that one for this tour? Are you like? There's no point in me even trying to do that. People are gonna want to hear them. I got to do all the hits.
Yeah, those, and it's hard to fit in sometimes with the timing that you have. And nowadays I've been cutting songs short. Like I just sing a piece of it and cut. Like even this one that you're playing, I use it as a boom.
Yeah. Just an in and out thing, man.
Yeah, it's a lot.
There's a lot to do,
thankfully.
You'll be on stage for like 4 hours and stuff otherwise, man. I think this is a great time for us to play Temperature, man, without a doubt. Talking up the history, the inspiration, the aspiration as well, man, because it is, aspirational as well to see what you've been able to do, as well as inspirational. Like a career spanning, we're into like, what, year 20 plus?
Yeah. It's up there.
Crazy, man.
It's up there.
Now, third album, We Be Burning, Ever Blazing, Give It To Me, Come Over. In fact, Come Over was on Imperial Blaze. I want to talk about that in a minute because it featured UK's very own Estelle. But at a time when you're like 3-4 albums in, how are you finding the inspiration to write new music? How are you, having the energy to still do it, the passion?
The crowds, like touring these shows like we just did. Like it's
Big
like
weekend.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, I was there. I helped thousands of people to just feel crazy and wild out that time. And it keep me going. Yeah. It keep me going. No matter what's going on. There's times where, big lull in whatever, and even in dancehall music being played at one point, it just a big lull. Like people wasn't playing nobody and didn't know none of the new artist names, and it's like you could look at it one way, like, oh, I came with a new music to the world and it's failed. Oh man, but I didn't. Yeah. It didn't fail to me. It got bigger. Yeah. And now people like Ed Sheeran have singles that are huge, and it's dancehall influence.
How do you feel about that as well? Because
love it.
There's Drake and Bieber and Ed Sheeran and Major Lazer, like we could list the amount of artists out there that are clearly.
I feel very proud of it. I feel proud of it. When people hear me, a comment I said about Drake, people feel like it's where's that coming from, and where you wanted him to shout out Jamaica all the time. My point is that when I do a pop oriented single or a pop flavored single, I say it. She doesn't mind. It's pop oriented. Yeah. It's for a pop listenership. Yeah. You understand? It sounds nice like that. Other Side of Love. Yeah. Yeah. And I stated. So people could say, oh, that's that dude who do dancehall reggae, but
he's touching on the pop.
Yeah. But there's 10-year-olds now who, if you didn't say to them, that is dancehall music that those artists are doing,
they wouldn't know.
They wouldn't know, because even back in the day when Give Me the Light was breaking, I had a friend, my cousin's wife. She's a teacher in school, and there was an argument in her school because everybody was like, "Give me the light," and they was like, "Yeah, new hip hop song," and some of the Jamaican kids was arguing with them. Yeah, that's dancehall. They were like, "No," and she came and told me about it, and she's like, "It's so crazy." And I'm like, what? So some of the kids there think that that's new hip hop, and it's so interrelated anyway. I'm just talking in a different lingua. Yeah, just like down south or whatever, from New York rap or
West, like grime as well. Grime, in the UK, it's all kind of interlinked.
It is interlinked. It's linked that it's music that we're talking about our likes, our dislikes, our pleasures, our dreams, our aspirations. We are talking about. What ticks us off and what, you know what I mean, and what happened to us. Yeah, and that's what modern day music is about. It's about telling you. It's not always about that thing that, as I said when I was a kid, when I felt dancehall and hip hop music, the music before that I knew was like, oh, that's a nice song, but it has nothing to do with my life. Yeah, almost. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But this now is talking to me like how I know directly what life is. And so that's why we react to it so combustiously. Yeah, because it's like, yeah, that happened to me. I know that.
Jessica wind up on me as well.
Yeah, I feel that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah.
No, without a doubt, man. And like you said, the growth of reggae and dancehall music has been like like it's huge. It's just off the scale at the moment.
From artists and producers in Jamaica alone to people outside of Jamaica, like in Germany, a youth named Gentleman. He has an amazing single with me and him on it right now too. Migos just came and helped me do like a dancehall, hip hop, fusion oriented single. As you said, Rihanna and Drake.
We premiered that on my show actually a couple of weeks back.
Mad.
Big rhythm, bro.
Big things.
And you've just continued as well to take dancehall into other pockets, into other areas. You've collaborated with a bunch of artists since the Beyonce and the Blue Cantrells. We're talking everyone from Sia through to Clean Bandit, through to Maya, who's a Nigerian. Like, you really are like picking out those really important collaborations, as well as having like some of these huge smash hits with some of these artists as well. It's been crazy, bro.
I think it's a testament to what dancehall really is. It's hip hop. It's music that we made from cuts of other music.
Yeah.
It's our life that we spit on cuts of other, because we didn't have the instruments and the big bands to create how that sound, but we cut it up. And you gave us computers and I was like, all right, cool. Yeah. We'll mix up that. And then now it's become the way to make music. And I just stick to that format. Like, I try to be, as I was telling somebody the other day, like in sports, like what Bruce Lee tell you. Bruce Lee said, don't be the cup, be the water.
Yeah.
Because when the water is in the cup, he gonna take that shape, but he's going to do all kind of other things too.
Yeah.
And you have to know that's how music is, because it's a flowing stream. It's not. I mean, I appreciate Jimi Hendrix music to the ground and what he did, but it's totally different from Nirvana's music. But it's rock, right?
Yeah.
But it's a stream. We're moving. There's things that are gonna
fluid, man.
Evolve and develop, and so go with it. And that's what I say.
And you've been going with it, bro. Like, going real with it. We've got to talk about the new album. We'll do that in just a moment. I know we're running out of time fast, but I got to talk about outside of music just quickly, because congratulations as well, man, on the birth of your son.
Appreciate that, bro.
You married back in 2012.
Yes.
I'm getting married in September, so I want to ask you, bro, how do you manage to like balance out this crazy lifestyle, crazy diary, this madness that you've got with, married life, with now fatherhood as well?
It is crazy. She has to be an understanding person.
Yeah, which she is. I'm lucky about that.
You're a lucky dude. and you have to kind of, for make it work, I think you have to kind of humble yourself too,
Yeah.
Yeah, when you humble yourself a little bit. Yeah, because it's two of you.
Yeah.
It ain't just you. And it's a hard thing for this sometimes, because, simple little things will, you be just like, nah, on that level, I don't go to that level no more.
Yeah.
And she bring you to a grounds where you're like, you know what? I ain't that special. I'm sharing my life with this person. I can't leave her on me have to bring her too.
Yeah.
I'm a picnic too, so yeah. And I want him to know good life, but I also want him to know that life ain't so pretty for everybody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Gotta work hard,
him born with it. Him born right now in a
nice.
legendary something, right? So, but yeah, he's a legendary kid himself. Big up Levi Blaze.
Gee, and his name, Levi Blaze. What an incredible name.
Respect, Brigitte.
Listen, that is an incredible name, man. So let's talk about the 7th album, because you're still at it, like I mentioned, going harder than ever. Mm-hmm. We've already been supporting tracks from the album, man. Like, how are you feeling about this one?
Yeah, I feel good. About a year and a half ago, I met up with my present management, which consists of my brother and someone who was also in my management before, but a new contender.
Yeah.
So big up Jules.
Because you are in a new situation as well now, new label situation.
Yeah.
Everything's kind of a fresh situation.
Everything
for you.
fresh back for me, which is refreshing.
Yeah.
But it was a lot to deal with, and I was like, yo, I wanted all this, so I better just step up to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
So it's okay, because the kid, and then I'm building a studio at home, which is taking long, and that's just, everything just goes boom, and I'm like, dude, you can't give up on none of this.
Yeah.
You can't make none of this style. You can't. So just deal with it. You know what I mean? And that's what's happening now. And I'm thankful for the situation. But yeah, about a year and a half ago, someone was like, I had a lot of songs, and they heard it, and she was like, you have to go back to the studio.
Oh,
And I was
wow.
like, yeah?
Did you feel you was finished?
Yeah. And I was like, all right, cool. I'll go.
Yeah.
And I've been going. I still am doing. So right now, some of this stuff that I'm doing right now might be what I think is the album.
Yeah.
So we're just kind of...
Just working your way through.
Yeah,
it,
we're
man.
chipping it out. So, you know, big up Tory Lanez, who came through right now. The top of his game is he's ever been, and he come through for artists who's over 20 years in the biz. Also, people like Migos, they're on the top of the game right now. Big up to them.
Without a doubt, man.
I mean, when I called them, it was 1-2, and I couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? Because sometimes, same way, like when I was in the top and busy, sometimes I wanted to do it, and I thought there was going to be red tape, and somebody's going to say to them, no, you can't. And they just came through. They offered me green. They brought beautiful flowers to the building. And we did it up. It was amazing.
Sick, man.
Yeah. So big up to them.
Listen, I could sit here and do this. Like, we could go on forever. There's so much we could talk about, man. But it's been incredible to catch up, man, and talk about the early inspiration and you know, as much as we could squeeze in about the career as possible, man. But yeah, long may it continue, man. We need to make some noise in the building for tonight's In-Depth. Sean Paul.
Respect you, man.